I am teacher Judy, your host, and my co-hosts for tonight are teacher Pacita Ross from New York
Hello.
and our dear Tita Josie Harrison from Las Vegas.
Hello.
And we would like to appreciate and greet our teachers for the Teachers Appreciation Week. Teachers out there in the Philippines and all over the world, we would like to say thank you. We appreciate your hard work. And here, our co hosts are going to say also their appreciation and greetings to our teachers and our viewers out there.
Well, thank you to all teachers here in the United States and also in the Philippines, my beloved country. Thank you for all your hardship, the thing that you are doing for our students, the youth of the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tita. And let's go to Tita Pasit Ross.
And in addition to what Josie and Judy had said, we wish to really thank you all, teachers. We want to show you our great appreciation and gratitude for what you do, what you have done, what you're doing. Without you, teachers, there would be no lawyers and doctors and engineers and everything else because you
True.
them. So, mabuhay kayo, teachers. We salute you.
Salute to our teachers. And tonight, we are going to have an awesome person.
Yeah.
And I think Tita Pasit and Tita Josie are going to read the bio note of this gentleman.
Okay, sure. All right. Now, tonight, we're really very, very grateful and honored that we have our special guest for tonight. Let me tell you something about him before Josie adds to the information that we will give you. Okay, this gentleman came to the US together with more than 130 Filipino teachers who were hired to teach mathematics, English, science, and special education in 2007. He has 14 years of teaching in California from 2007 to the present time. For 5 years, in 2007 to 2012, he taught English language arts for grades 9 to 10 to special day classes. After that, he has been assigned as a high school special education teacher, teaching mathematics to grades 9 to 12 at the Los Angeles Unified School District. Let's go back a little bit to his experience in the Philippines. He graduated from college in 1993 and taught English at the Mindanao State University in Marawi City. That Marawi City that is very famous or popular for something terrible that happened to it. Anyway, he has taught college English and humanities at that same university for 14 years. He became head of the humanities department, and while such, he engaged in arts, in theater directing, stage design, photography, Maranao cultural arts, food, and fashion until his departure for the United States in 2007. Josie, your turn.
Yes, and he started teaching math in 2013. He started to teach 9th grade Algebra 1, 10th grade Geometry, and 11th grade Algebra. And he said he failed in his first math course when he enrolled in his college engineering course. And his teacher told him that almost all Asians are good in math. So he said that is a good stereotyping of the Asian. Anyways, he is about to retire in 9 to 10 years. Oh boy, that's a lot more years to come. And and I will be 75 plus 10. I will be 85 years old. There is no place like home, he said. So he wants to go to the Philippines. And he is really thinking of the students in the Philippines. He would like to really share to them his experience here in America. And that is a good thought to have. And, he wants to have a school there and teach them and share to them his knowledge of just about everything in teaching, especially in math, I hope. And so he said that, wait a minute, this is too free. And he also would like to organize a free tutoring class. That is great. I would like to see that. I hope that I'm still alive when you're doing that. I would like to visit you. And he said that he would like to serve the community there, and he is really looking forward to retiring in the Philippines. Let's welcome our special guest for tonight, Mr. Ferdinand Nakila.
Oh,
Hey, Ferdinand. Good evening.
good evening to all of
It's our
you.
pleasure to see you here, and we welcome you.
Well, thank you for having me.
But before we will grill you, some of our questions prepared here, we would like you to greet your friends there in LA and even in the Philippines.
Yep. Yep. For the teacher appreciation, is it gonna be a month? Because we just had a free breakfast this morning.
Wow.
Wow.
And there's a little card. It was beautiful actually, and we will have another lunch probably. And on the last day, we would get our backpack, I think, from our school with
Oh,
goodies in it. Yep. So that's how our school is actually planning to
That's very nice.
somehow lighten our mood because of this difficult time in teaching.
Right.
My co-Filipino teachers hang in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we survived for 14 years. Next year, we are celebrating our 15th year. We are thriving. We are Filipinos, and we are born to
survive.
uh, to share what we
You
have.
are
Our
right. You
strengths.
are right.
Yes, and happy
Yeah,
Teachers Appreciation Month for everybody.
That's
true.
great. Yes.
And
Thank you.
it's our joy that to see you
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
Ferdinand, tell us about your. You are from Agusan del Norte.
Bataran City, Agusan del Norte. Yes.
Agusan del Norte.
Yeah.
So, how long you teach there?
Actually, I went to MSU. MSU Marawi is 8 hours away. It's in the south. My hometown. I told you mentioned about Ma'am Femia. We are Kababayan.
Yeah.
We're actually in the northern part of Mindanao, and the university where I went to is in the south. So by
Okay.
land, it is 8 hours, like whole day travel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
8 hour away. It's in the province of Lanao del Sur. So
Mm.
Marawi City is actually the campus is in actually Lanao del Sur. It's on top of a mountain. It's
Wow.
like our summer capital in
Uh-huh.
it's like Baguio City, and the
Right.
university is overlooking Marawi City. There's a huge lake there. They call Lanao. And yeah,
Oh.
we were in that university. I was there for 19 years, 5 years for being a college student, and 14 years as a
As a
teacher.
teacher. Wow.
Okay. So you taught there for 14 years also.
Yes.
Only mathematics?
No, no, English. My major is English. I actually, I enrolled in chemical engineering for first year, but I realized it was not
He
my
failed.
passion. Yeah, I just
Yes,
wanted
you
to please
failed.
my dad. I just wanted to please my father, who actually didn't
Mm.
like me so much. He didn't trust me at all. Yeah, his kind of he wasn't ready for a gay son like me. So
Oh.
I could feel his
You could feel the pressure from your dad.
yeah, and I lived my life, most of my life, trying to please him, trying to prove him wrong. So I actually took the course that he suggested, chemical engineering, and I enrolled in that mathematics class. I failed. It's an engineering class, and I started to feel like math is not probably it's not my strength. But Ma'am Femia, the one that you interviewed 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
my math teacher, and she would be so feeling bad if I would if with my experience in MSU that I failed in mathematics. She taught me well. I was good in mathematics, but it's just that the way of teaching in the university is totally different from
Oh.
Ma'am Femia did when I was in high school. So I shifted to education major in English, and so when I graduated in 1993, I got hired at the English department there. So I taught English. I taught in the graduate school too. I taught humanities. I also taught pre-college courses.
Woo,
It's
wow.
yeah. So I never expected that I would be teaching mathematics because my first 14 years in MSU was devoted to teaching
English.
English and arts
So
appreciation.
only here in America that they
Yes,
convince.
yeah, my
Oh,
principal did. My principal actually tried to convince me because the new applicants couldn't teach math. They could teach English, they could teach history, they could
Right,
teach
right.
other classes except math.
Now,
So my principal was actually looking for math and he couldn't find an applicant. And then he noticed that I'm Asian and he thought that Asians are good at math.
okay.
And he approached me like, Mr. Nakila, you're from the Philippines, I know. And I know Asians are good in math. Would you consider teaching math? And
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, oh my God, why would I be teaching mathematics? But I told him I'm not credentialed. He said, don't worry about that. I will send you to a training and you will get your credential in summer. I said, okay. Like, can you teach math next week? And I will try to see if you could. And then I taught simple, basic algebra. And he was like, you are what I'm looking for.
Oh,
that's so
Mr.
beautiful.
Nakila, our new applicants are native speakers of English. So give that to them. And I'll give math to you. I said, fine.
Oh
Like, but
my.
I was actually nervous at first because, of course, I would be teaching now. Like, my last math experience wasn't that good, but it was okay. I'm one of the best. Not modesty aside. Yeah, my administrator would not let me go. I was actually hired in a different school, but my principal held me for 4 more years. He didn't want to let me go.
so
Great.
how
He
was your
couldn't find.
transition? How was your transition like from an English teacher, ELA teacher, to a math teacher? How did you
You know
prepare?
what? It was a good transition though because my
How
English
did you prepare
students
for that? Okay.
were the same math students. So they're the same. So I'm their English and math, and they'd say, Mr. Nakila, we like you in math.
Oh,
Because the way I taught English is like the Philippines, the way I taught in the university, and they didn't like it. It was hard.
Oh,
It was hard. My writing exercises were hard. It was college because my training was college, university level. And it was so hard to go down to high school level. Like maybe I was just transitioning from from college and it was very strict and I was teaching them literature. I was the one who would choose readings and my co-teachers would say, Mr. Nakila, we are not teaching that story here. That's too high for them. But I was like, but this is in the book, like Mr. Nakila, even then. So it was hard. It was hard because my students have very, you know, even if they're 9th, 10th grade, their reading level is 5th grade. So I just, it was hard. So if students are frustrated, they would show their behavior, right?
yep.
So, yeah. So they're not
You can
happy.
feel it.
They're not happy with me. They're as their English teacher because they are not passing. Many of them are failing, even if I would provide them accommodation and supports. So when I became their math teacher, I was a better teacher to them because they said, "Yes, you can make us understand, and we could get perfect. And you are a good math teacher. Stop teaching English, Mr. Nakila."
Okay. Can you explain to us what the special day class is? That's the question.
Oh yeah, these are mild, moderate cases in special ed. These are students who have different learning disabilities,
Okay,
like
okay. All right.
mild autism, high functioning. That if you would not read their IEP, you think they have no disabilities at all because they have no problem talking. They have no. But when you teach them, that's when you realize there is
Okay.
problem in
Right,
comprehension.
right. Right.
So yeah, these are they're not physically disabled. They're okay. They if you talk to them, conversational thing, there you don't sense it. You don't sense they are mild moderate, but in their record it says that the students need this kind of accommodation. They are visual learners.
Okay.
They switch things, so they have all these different learning disabilities that they
Right.
need support. So they have to be in my classroom. They need more time to do assignments. You need to help them with the writing. You have to have sentence starters. You need to have a lot of accommodations. You need to to check their work
Yes.
from time to time,
Right.
and they
Right.
have this. Some of them have ADHD; they cannot focus, so you have to find a place to seat them so they can focus on their work. Sometimes they need that you sit beside them so they can start working. So this is a special day class.
That's a challenge to
That's
you
the
too.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have a little bit of discipline issues too.
Of course.
Yes.
Like most of our students, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes. There are
So,
no
Tita
perfect.
Josie, yes, I'm sorry, Tita.
Sorry.
Tita Josie, do you have
Oh,
some
I have a
insights or
comment,
questions?
not a question, because reading all the history is just very informative. My comment is that I love people with humanity in their mind, to help humanity in any way that they can. And you planning and already have it in your vision that you will take all the knowledge that you earned from here and bring it back to our country and share it to them. I think that's great. That is so great.
Yep.
And I admire you for that.
Yep, I'm actually planning to every time I would go home in summer. Although it's hard in December because you only have 3 weeks, 3 week vacation, and it's gonna be raining, and there's Christmas, so it's hard to gather teachers. But
Mhm.
if it's summer, I would have 2 month long vacation, and I could have all the time to train. Now that Philippines is trying to match the dates of our summer, so probably I could continue because I did it twice. When I went home, I actually asked my friends to donate so I could actually give a training that's free of charge, and I could give materials to teachers. So even their lunch and snacks are free. Everything's free and they get.
Oh, that's nice.
So I plan to do that because with the you like what happened during the pandemic, our teachers in the Philippines were actually groping in the dark. First, they
Yeah.
don't have the
That's true.
technology. They didn't even own a laptop or a desktop.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So because they are paper and pencil, and then they had to shift to like virtual school, and it's hard. So they just printed their modules, so it's still paper and pencil, although distant. So now that ed and even universities are giving laptops now, but the question is, do they know how to
So
use
they know how.
apps? Do they know how to
Right, right,
use
right.
Zooms? How to connect exams? How to use all this available apps? So probably I'm gonna do training on using apps that are available, which are free, probably in the Philippines that they could use for instruction because probably we will not go back to 100% paper and
Right.
pencil anymore.
That's
The
true.
fact that we discover that we can actually teach using all these apps, and there are a lot of good apps in which you can actually teach math visually, and it's really good. There are a lot of apps that have been there
Yeah.
not used because there was no need probably when we were only doing paper and pencil. Now that we are forced to use it, now the teachers realize, wow, these are good apps. So probably I'm going home in 6 weeks, and I'm actually thinking of just doing informal training because I'm not prepared to do that, and I have not made connects. I have not communicated with them, and but the mayor is my friend, so I can easily
Oh,
do.
I have a suggestion for you, Ferdy. I have a suggestion. One time I went home to my home province and I conducted a big seminar workshop in reading and writing. And
Wow.
you know what? Yeah, I spent all the for the materials, for my fare, for everything. But
Mhm.
then the mayor was a friend, and so I asked the mayor. The mayor gave all the merienda and then the lunch.
Oh
So
yeah,
you do that too.
yeah.
Parang
Yeah,
hindi ka
yeah, she's willing to do that, and they love to have kababayans from the U.S. share what we have learned here. Actually, that's the purpose of J1, and because I started as a J1, and I felt bad that I left the Philippines at my prime when I'm supposed to be needed most in the Philippines, and I'm here, and you can just see the difference of how students here would receive your instruction, and our students sometimes you would feel frustrated that I would stay overnight to prepare a nice lesson, then the next day when you present the lesson they just take it for granted.
Yeah.
So and we have a lot of students in the Philippines who would need you, and you are here and not there, and that's why I feel indebted that if ever I would retire I would go back right away to the Philippines, and like, oh, I lost a time with my students there, and probably I will have to serve my city and my
Okay.
municipality, and I'll be a teacher
Yeah.
trainer probably.
That's
don't feel
nice.
don't feel guilty at all because you have all this you've been doing things for them too, for the teachers there. You're
Yeah.
giving back, so don't feel
Mm,
bad. Anyway, your plans in the future are just wonderful, and
yeah.
I'm sure you would have given them back more than enough, so don't feel guilty at all. Don't.
Yeah, I and then one thing is, Ferdinand, you mentioned a while ago that you are teaching with this disabled, I mean, special ed, I mean,
Mhm.
special ed students, right?
Mhm.
Do you find some challenging moments in your teaching with them
All the
and with
time.
this kind of students? And can you mention
Mhm.
some difficulties that you have encountered? There are a lot of teachers who want to come here in America, and they are special ed teachers. So
Mhm.
can you share to them what are some challenging experience that you have, and how have you dealt with this?
Mhm. Um, I shared, Judy, I shared with you that article in LA Times. I was
Yeah.
featured. It was my second year of teaching here, and Filipino teachers became a news here in LA
Oh.
because probably the ones who are with me have PhD in the Philippines, and then when we came here, we are already at the top of
Mm-mm.
the pay
True.
scale, and there was actually jealousy from other, from other.
Yes.
From the
Uh,
natives.
yeah, from
Race issue.
teachers
Mhm.
here, local teachers, and we they followed us with our experiences, and I was asked about my experience. It was a culture shock. Actually, I was asked that the same question, Judy, what you asked me was the same question that was asked during the interview
Mm.
for LA Unified, because they went to the Philippines to interview us. That was the first question, like, what do you think you would expect to like,
Okay.
yeah, what kind of adjustment, what kind of difficulty,
Mhm.
because obviously there is a cultural gap. Filipino students are much totally probably different from our students in the US. Do you have any idea what kind of students you would be facing? And especially that my population would be the special
Special.
ed.
Mhm.
Aside from the regular behavior issue of our regular ed students,
True.
mine is special ed with learning disabilities. So
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of frustrations because they have learning differences.
Hmm.
So that was the thing. It was I who learned most actually as a teacher, because I came from a university. I taught university students,
College. Mhm.
scholars. Yeah, I taught in the graduate school, and suddenly you are in front of ninth graders,
Hmm.
and I tried to bring my university professor hat, and it didn't work. I was
Yeah.
actually, so
Mhm.
I even asked them for writing, and there was this prompt of writing about the hero of your life. So I didn't realize, because I came late. I came late. Start classes already started 2 months and we came. So we were like students thought we were actually substitute teachers.
Substitute.
I was asked, "Are you another sub?" I said, "No, I'm your teacher." Like, "Where are you from?" I said, "From the Philippines." "Where is that?"
All right.
Oh.
And I was like, "Hmm." And they would insult you, like, "So you came from the other side of the globe?" And
Mm.
I'm like, "Yeah, literally." I can show you where that is. It's right
Yeah.
here. So if it's daytime now, it's midnight in my country. So I have to
Oh.
be, yeah. And then I asked them about their hero, and I didn't know that my students don't, because I actually gave my own example. I said, "Oh, I look up to my father, and he's a hero to me. At first, he actually trained me. He disliked me. Now he's actually proud of me." And then I asked one student, like, "Why are you asking me about this? I don't know my dad, and I don't want to know. Don't
Oh,
ask me." And I
wow.
realized I was taken aback. I was like,
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
sensitive issues that I'm not supposed to like touch. So I
Right.
have to be. I learned right then and there that you are not just a teacher in the classroom. You are a social worker. You are a
Exactly.
dad.
You're
You're
a
a mom.
counselor.
You are a caregiver. You are a counselor. You are yeah. So there
Correct.
are so many things, and you are not. They would not admit they're hungry. They're coming from group homes because I
Mm.
teach in the inner city school and in the
Oh.
south, and I
Oh.
I didn't know what group homes are. I was not introduced to that idea. I thought group home is okay. You live here together, and I didn't know what they experience. But they don't want to say the truth that they don't that their fridge are being locked at night so they couldn't open it,
Oh.
and they would come to school hungry and they're mad at you because you are giving a quiz. So I have cookies. So I started like making friends with them, and so I have to ask them to make just to make connection. It took me months to gain their trust.
Right.
It's really hard because you have a pregnant student. I had a student, I didn't know she was pregnant. She's only ninth grade, and she was mad at me every morning. The moment she would enter my class, she just hated me. I couldn't even find a reason why. And then I learned after 2 weeks, she just started throwing up. She's
Oh.
yeah. And
Pinaglilian ka.
galit na galit siya sa
Pero, ah, Ferdinand,
yes.
so sa mga experience mo na ito, mabuti ka. You are very good in human relations. Eh. No, I think you are very effective teachers to them, a teacher to them because of your human relations. Very good. Do you think that you will you will advise teachers who would like to come here that they have to train themselves also in human relations? Do
Yeah.
you think this is very important?
Yeah, I think even in the Philippines, you have to be. If you're a teacher, even in the Philippines, I think
Yeah.
it's not just that when you come here, you have to be like that. Because even in the Philippines, I realized that in the university where I was, this kind of teaching that I'm doing is would be very effective in the university, because in the university these professors who actually are not trained in education, they take BS mathematics, BS chemistry, BS biology, or engineering, and then suddenly when they graduate they become teachers
They
in college,
teach. Okay.
so they have no idea how it is to
To
teach.
teach. Mhm.
Unlike me, my background is education. So I'm already trained to teach and the rigors of teaching. So I'm a little bit patient, and I'm not really that like very smart. So I think this very smart people can be bad teachers because it's so hard for them
To go
to think
down.
how learners
Stoop
think,
down.
so they cannot go down to that level, but I can. I'm in the middle. I'm kind of in the middle,
Yeah.
so I understand. Cause one time I actually approached a straight A student to teach me math. I couldn't understand him.
Yeah.
He's
Exactly.
just bad about. He's a very good student, but a bad teacher. I wouldn't
Exactly.
understand him at all.
I
So
understand.
But Ferdinand, I will cut you. Sorry. There was a comment from one of our interviewees in here. She said that Filipino teachers are very good in curriculum content. That means we're very good in the
mhm,
content with
yeah,
our whatever,
right, yeah.
our curriculum.
Mhm.
But there is a problem with connection with
Oh yeah,
our
I
Rapport.
know.
with our
It
students.
must be. I would.
Why do you think?
It
Why?
must be social linguistics. I think that the way we communicate, although we are so caring, we are probably like moms like you know how to like treat your students like your
Mm-hmm.
own children. But the language is different. We don't use their idioms. We are not born and
Yeah.
raised here, so there is a language gap there, and that most of the problems are actually in that part, the socio psycholinguistic aspect of communication, because when teachers are being offended by through communication, the
Right.
tendency is you are not patient anymore, you raise your voice. There was this lady, she was a very good teacher in the Philippines, she used to be a principal, she came here, she was already like 60 when she came to teach,
Oh.
and She's from the Philippines. She was a very good teacher there, but when she came here on the first week, she was like, I'm giving lecture to students and blah 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 blah, and she's from a Catholic school, and you know how strict they are, and the students were like, "Who are you? Why are you talking about
No,
kissing? And
no.
kissing would make us go to hell." Because she would see them outside, and kids they would kiss, and this teacher, she's already like grandma, and she was doing a lecture on, you would go to hell for doing that, blah blah blah, and she was called by the principals like, you're not supposed to talk something about that.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I realized that
So
it's
there is a
just
communication gap
communication.
there.
I would think that communication, because
Issue.
after many years, when teachers started to know how to like communicate and use their own language, students make connection already. So I make connection with my students. They could listen to me for 30 minutes now. Unlike before, when they started to size you up and you appear to be a little bit nervous, and
Yeah.
the words that you're using, someone just told me, "Excuse me, your English? You know what? Your English? You talk like the book."
Yeah.
What he meant was, you're too formal.
Yeah, bookish language.
Yeah, like your English is like the book. That's how they call
Wow.
the Filipino English is like the English in the book.
But do you think that Filipino teachers who come here, they have communication
Yeah,
issues?
I really do. I really do think. I think they should be.
What can you
The training.
advise them?
Um, get the training from the call center agents. The call center call center in the Philippines.
Oh,
They have modules for language, like training all aspects of like how you answer this kind of
like
question.
customer
Yeah,
service.
yeah, and
Yeah.
idioms and everything, and how you actually speak closer to the native language, and you have to use idioms. Because one time, probably I pronounced it, and I had my denture at that time, and my pronunciation was kind of a bit off, and I pronounced printer with a T, and they say it printer.
Printer.
Yeah, they will obscure the N and the T,
The
printer.
T.
And I kept saying I was actually looking for the printer that's supposed to be mine. It's like, what is it? What is it again? And when I pointed out, oh, you meant printer! Oh my god!
Where? That's true.
Yeah, so if there is a problem with communication and you become self-conscious with your lack, then you would not speak a lot, and you would not be so friendly, and you will not approach your co-teacher, and
True.
relationship would be affected, and you don't talk to your kids like
True.
during break time. There is no like informal communication on the sideline, which they need,
Mhm.
which most of our students need during break time, that you can actually talk about their families, and that your language would connect with them. And if your language is not connecting, that's where most of the they think
Beautiful.
you are just
Correct.
like
So,
wow and unapproachable.
yeah, teachers, you
You know
hear
what
this.
a new teacher in the US should do, like I did? I listened to the children, my colleagues speak, the way they say the words, because I know, like you said, printer. Dito iba, no? So I listened to my colleagues, my principal, my co-teachers, and the children especially, how they say words.
Mm,
Kasi at first I was kind of lost. Di ko sila maintindihan, ano?
mm.
So I listened,
O
listen.
hindi ka nila maintindihan.
Hindi ka rin nila maintindihan, hindi ko rin sila
At
maintindihan.
hindi man natin sila maintindihan.
You have to really listen to them. Now, let's go to another topic, could we please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very interested in what you did when you became head of the humanities department. You said you engage in arts like theater, directing. It seems
Yeah.
very interesting to me.
Yeah.
How, how was your experience there? What did you exactly do? And how was it like being in
Yeah.
arts and a teacher at the same time?
Mhm. Actually, doon, because Marawi is it's actually predominantly Maranao area. It's
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Maranao. Maranaos are the biggest group of the 13 Muslim groups in the Philippines. Sila yung pinakamarami. And they are in Lano del Sur, and they have very rich culture and arts. They have complete They have complete what's this? A representation of arts. They have literature, they have oral tradition, they have the bayok, they have the kulintang, they have
Dancing,
music, they have
right?
dance, they have
Yes.
theater,
Wow.
Mm-mm.
they have delicacies, they have dresses,
Yeah.
they have
Yeah,
Wow.
uh,
right.
and I was amazed. And we don't call them Muslim arts because Muslim is religion. It's
Right.
Islam.
Right. Right.
There are 13 groups. I'm talking of the Maranaos that are in Llano del Sur. So when I was teaching there, I was teaching European arts, painting, appreciation of music, and then I actually focus more on their own arts because many of them, even the Maranaos, they're not so proud. Probably because they feel like they are minorities and they're not
Yeah.
proud of the art. They didn't realize that of all, not to just put down other groups, but I have to say it. I have to say it that of all cultural groups in the Philippines, the most spectacular is the Maranaos. The most colorful, the most vibrant, the most
Wow.
the gold, the okir, and everything. And
Very
even in their
attractive.
place, there are princes, and the Princess Lawanin. Very rich ang culture nila, and they have this the rangin, like the oral tradition. So when I was there for 14 years, I was doing photography, I was doing stage, because we have a very good theater form. We call them Bayoka, and we have our theater form in the university. So I have to bring my students and train them with Kambayoka because Kambayoka is Maranao form. It's the Bayok. It's like so the
Oh,
lines
Oh,
are
right.
sung.
The music,
wow.
So,
yes.
yeah, so it's musical. So nagpakadalubhasa ako dyan, and meron akong
Uh-huh.
every month may activity kami. So we have Maranao Food Festival because they
Wow.
have this
Ah,
how they eat. They have this and
Very
they have a
good.
lot of delicacies and different food, which is
Very
actually
good.
oriental in nature. They have the yellow rice and everything.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that part. That was my golden years of teaching in MSU, and then suddenly I left.
Have
And
you tried, even for a little bit, have you tried bringing that culture of yours, I mean, of your place, to where you are working now? To the
yeah,
school?
I actually showed them because it.
excuse me. We got 10 minutes left.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Okay. Be quick,
Yeah,
Ferdinand.
I actually shared. We have a group here. We have alumni from MSU
Okay.
here in LA. So we
Wow.
perform sometimes during our reunions.
Ah.
We
So
perform.
do you
Very
dance
nice.
too?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Very
I
Ooh.
nice.
have
What
music
about
collection.
singing?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not really that
But
very.
in
But I can,
dancing.
yeah, we dance. We do presentation,
So
Marana.
how can principals employers not to hire this man? This man is a package. Okay, a teacher, a
Yeah,
dancer, humanitarian,
Humanities
you
specialist.
right specialist. We are very proud of your journey,
mm,
Ferdinand,
Thank
and I
you.
am very, very happy that we are meeting you right now. And thank you for
Yeah.
FEMS who introduced you to us. And thank you so much. And before we're gonna leave, we have to leave also inspirational quotes and messages to our
mm.
listeners right now. So
Oh,
I would like to ask Tita Josie and then Pasit, and then Ferdinand, and I will be the last.
okay.
Can you, Tita Josie, do you have? This is for the teachers. Teachers, we appreciate your hard work. You are very inspirational to us. So, Tita Josie.
Okay, my quote for tonight is do what makes you happy,
Mm-hmm.
be with who makes you smile,
Wow.
laugh as much as you can and as long as you breathe in this earth, love as long as you live.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes. Thank you very much. Let's just smile, laugh, and be happy
Yeah.
where we are, especially for teachers who are there right now. Enjoy being a teacher. Tita
Yes.
Pasit?
Agree. Okay. All right. Now, so this is about knowledge and good character and what
Mm,
they produce. I found this somewhere. Anyway, the quote says, knowledge gives power,
mm,
but good character gets respect.
mm.
Now, we might say respect is more desirable than power, but I believe that if power is used for the most good, power is equally desirable as respect.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
knowledge gives power,
Yes.
but good character gets respect. Then use our knowledge, our power of knowledge, for doing the best, the good, the most good for
Oh my
everybody that
gosh,
we
that's
can
so
Yes.
beautiful.
encounter.
And power, knowledge is power, character is power, right? So
Okay?
it just revolves in there. There's always power in
They're all
everything we do
together.
as
Yeah.
long it is good.
Mhm.
Yes, Ferdinand.
This is my profile, or what I actually put in
Yes,
my Facebook, and in so many different times.
I
I
saw it.
My quote is "Bloom where you are planted." Wherever you are, not just here in the US, or what kind of work where you are in, especially the teachers. Probably you are in the remote areas in the barrio, bloom where you are planted. Your boss is God, not your principal. So
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
God's standard, your principal
beautiful.
will appreciate you,
Excellent.
because God's standard is actually perfection. And if you could go high to that standard, the rest will just be pleased.
It will just bloom,
Very good.
right? Yeah. So, mine is teachers are the most powerful people in the community. They can make or break the minds of the youths. They can brainwash the mentality for good or evil. Their influence affects for eternity. So, teachers, let us be careful what we give to our students.
What we do.
Yes. So, Tita Pasit,
Excellent.
do you
Excellent.
think that there is, do you think that knowledge is more important than character or vice versa?
I think they're all interconnected. They're all interconnected. So use your knowledge for power and use that power for good.
Yes. Tita Josie, would you believe this, or you believe this one? That most employer, they prefer people who have character. They hire people with character more than with knowledge.
well, I believe in that. It's good to be intelligent, but
Mhm,
sometimes not all intelligent people knows how to deal with people, and
mhm,
they don't have no character. So that's nothing. You know, if you don't have character to carry on yourself, what's the use of being very intelligent?
Intelligent.
Nobody would even waste their time listening to you.
Exactly.
Wow,
Exactly.
wow. How about Sir Ferdinand? Do you believe what she said?
Actually, technology CEOs would hire people who have teachable character, because it's easy to teach them the technology, but it's hard to change a character. So they prefer those who are teachable. So I always teach my student, be teachable, because
Teachable.
if you're teachable, you would be an employable adult.
Oh, wow,
Perfect.
beautiful.
Perfect.
Perfect. I love that. So,
Mhm.
teachers, we heard from these educators, from Pasit, from Josie, from Ferdinand, and from me also. We have to build this nation, this community with character, not just only this, not just intelligence,
Intelligence.
but coupled with character. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to have you, Ferdinand, Tita Pasit, Tita Josie. This kind of show, our radio show, is, I believe, there is an impact to those who are listening to us and watch
Definitely.
us. Right,
Agree.
teachers? We appreciate your hard work. We are here to support you in our prayers, in whatever we can. Thank you very much for PHLV Radio for hosting this, and we are happy that we are together to build a nation with not just only intelligence but with character. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Ferdy.
Thank